Yeah.
Oh, this must be, the policy. This came in, yeah. This might,
Hi, John.
Hi, Candace.
Yeah, hi to you. Gosh, it's like. You didn't get any? Oh my gosh, it was feeling like crazy. Little tiny things like that. We didn't have. It was like on that parade bar. Wow. No, maybe I did, but I wasn't home. Yes, I was supposed to. Yeah. And yeah. It's another big down. For about 5 minutes. And I think it was. Obviously. Yeah.
this is, I think this, without this space. So taking this, moving it. Yeah, well, from making wall here, taking that one down, so we can build a wall.
That was, but at least was the last sniper.
Yeah. This is like
So we have
not what's on my drive. James.
I know. Yes. Wow.
It's hot.
And I remember that. So.
6 o'clock, so I'll call this meeting to order. I'm waiting for one more person to come here.
I don't like.
2 seats up front right here.
Nobody likes to sit.
I
know, I just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 o'clock, I'll call the select board meeting, regular select board meeting to order. If you could, please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Minutes from our last meeting, which was October 7th.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes of October 7th?
I'll second that. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor? Minutes pass. Any public comment? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it all right for us to accept donations when we do the soup on Wednesdays down at the community center?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah, you can take donations, but they have to then go to the town office.
right,
Right,
they have been.
yeah.
There was a gray area where we weren't sure whether we could, or whether we actually had to charge a fee and call it revenue.
Well, it all ends up going to the same, so,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
What account does that go into?
It goes into the library's account. Unless it's designated, unless the people making the donation designated to a particular cause. Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple things, I'm curious why one of the avenues at the cemetery is roped off, is there a problem in that avenue? It's roped off for a couple of months.
Yes, we determined that older part of the cemetery really isn't suitable for vehicular traffic, and we've had issues with stones being repaired more than once because it's really not wide enough for modern vehicles to drive through.
That makes sense.
The only other thing I don't really know, not super comfortable bringing this up, I'm curious from a business point of view. Is the town covered for the incidents like happened at the church? I know that the church has liability, but it's a town event, so it's the liability for the insurance also. What if something happened there where that became an issue? Would the town have any responsibility there for an event?
I wouldn't think so. If you're not aware, the Maine State Court Claims Act is pretty nice for municipalities and for other entities.
Yeah.
But so towns, municipalities can't be sued unless it's gross negligent or intentional. And then they're limited to $400,000,
Right.
even if they could be sued. So and plus we've got liability insurance with
Right.
MMA.
Yes, no, I was aware that you did.
But
I just wasn't sure.
yeah, and typically, when we have a contractor here, we require them to carry liability insurance that exempts the town and covers the town and all of its employees as well. So it's a certificate of insurance that lists the town as an also insured.
Yes, I get those as well.
Does it list like a town sponsored event at another venue owned by somebody else? I think is what she means.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like the exercise class is a town sponsored event at the church.
yeah, we'd still be covered the same way as if it were our own property. So it really wouldn't make a difference.
Okay, so both of the insurances would come into play.
Correct, they both.
This level, so.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on. A report of members, did you have anything mentioned?
No.
I've got two things, for those of you who have seen the cemetery in the last few years, the Lions Club has sponsored Wreaths Across America. And we've gotten donations last year and the year before to put wreaths on all of the veterans' grave sites at the cemetery. We'll be doing it again this year. And it'll be a little bit different because we're gonna have an opening ceremony at 9:30 in the morning at the church right there on the gig, People's Methodist. And then we'll go across to the cemetery to lay the wreaths. Our hope is to involve a lot of the community in that. Because next year we'd like to broaden it and try to get wreaths for all the graves and all the graveyards in South Thomaston. And that would, right now it's about 140 for Oceanside, and it'd probably be about 350 to do all of the town. And currently there's only one town in the nation that does all of the grave sites, all of the wreaths on all the veterans, and that happens to be St. George. And they've approached us and they want us to join with them to try to get both towns with all of the grave sites done.
What date is that?
It's the 13th, December 13th, which is a Saturday morning,
And what time did you say the time?
9:30 at the church.
And that's Village, not Ocean View.
Right, yeah, Village. Did anybody else have anything else? No question. The other thing I've got is a small report from the Ordinance Review Committee. We've been meeting twice a month for about the last 3 months, I guess. We're about ready to put pen to paper. So in November and December, we're only gonna meet one time, but we are gonna do the writings and get those across with the members for our meeting in November. So we're hoping to have by mid-January, end of January, to have a draft out that the public can look at. Our intention is still not to make it not to bring it to the town formally until springtime, so that it can be voted on at the next normal town meeting. Adjustments to the agenda. Yes, ma'am.
I have a $1,000 donation from Rachel Snow for the Forest Preserve. And I also have an $80 donation to the library, and that was from Soup Luncheons.
Sue, what?
Soup Luncheons, I got no names, but. And then I also gave you this handout for that email as a correspondence.
Yeah, I think that's this, we're just infoed on that.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for the Solar LLC to provide the paperwork the state needs.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? All right, on to old business. Discuss work being done on Pumpkin Hill Road. I spoke, because we do not have a road commissioner in commission. We've been, we were behind on this, getting caught up on this particular subject. But when the road was paved, Westbrook was paved, it ended up not making a smooth transition onto Pumpkin Hill Road. One of the residents on there has taken it upon himself to repair it in conjunction with Jimmy Calick, which is who we use for most of our road work anyway. And he had asked that Brian Calderwood is the individual, he had said that the commissioner had suggested that the town would participate in that. And after talking to Jimmy Calick, I agree that we should. I think it's reasonable for us to pay a quarter of the cost of it. Or $2,000 from the road commissioner's road budget. We probably would have been, probably should have paid a little bit more, except that at the same time, the culvert needed to be completely replaced, and so the town did that independent of what Brian was doing, but at the same time, which kind of saved the town a little bit of money, but so that improved the conditions significantly. So it decreased how much our share of it should be. So I would make a motion that we authorize the treasurer to pay either Brian Calderwood or Calick. I don't know where, I know it's been invoiced, I don't know if it's been paid, $2,000 for that road repair.
I will second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Discussion with the code enforcement officer on relocating the code enforcement officer's office and the assessor agent's office to the library/community center. We've received letters from the fire chief and from Kevin McCormick explaining to us why they think it's important that we relocate them. There really is no good place to put them here. So about the only place to put them is in the library/community center. We went out and looked at possible locations, possible places in there. And I think the best solution personally is that first nook on the left, knocking out the wall, then using that L to put the folks into. And then anything that displaces can go across the hall to what is called the office. Which was offered up as was another location, which might have room for some of that stuff too. I think it can all be relocated there. Yes, ma'am.
And as the state fire marshal's office,
I've got a phone call into them, but they didn't even say when they would return the call. They're pretty busy these days, I guess, behind power curve, but I think private, if we're just gonna take out that wall, I don't see it as an issue. The only issue I have is that I really would like him to resolve is for not use, but for the tiles downstairs. And whether or not we'd have to change the sprinkler system if we took those out or replaced them. I don't think anything we're doing upstairs is gonna require an answer from him.
why do we need to do anything in the lower level?
It was suggested when we were doing the walkthrough that one of the issues down there is the mold smell and the dampness. And that seems to be coming primarily from those ceiling tiles. And so replacing those might be to our benefit for anything we store down there. Yes, ma'am.
An assessment of what the problem is as far as that goes, as far as the mold goes. Be done before that, just for remediation in addition to the fire marshal. Because there are other things that can be done for remediation and we don't have a clue as to how much, what, or anything.
Yeah, I'm just going by on what everybody tells me about down there, is that it smells bad,
But we're not the experts.
right? All we're looking to do is replace the ceiling tiles
Or remove.
or remove them. I think replace them would be just as easy as removing them. And then the question is whether or not removing them changes the types of sprinklers that have to be in there. And if we replace them, then we wouldn't have to change the sprinklers at all. That's the difference.
But if we replace them and don't remediate the moisture, maybe with another dehumidifier, they might just end up being
Yeah.
the same issue.
There's already one dehumidifier in use down there.
Yeah.
Rated for 8,000 square feet.
Yeah, which that is less than, isn't it?
No, that is more than the area.
The area. Yeah.
About air purifiers or anything that could help mitigate that smell, which may or may not be anything.
That's what the dehumidifiers do.
Air purifier,
Yeah, I don't know whether that's a requirement or not.
maybe that would be a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering if it's bad for that section. Shouldn't the whole basement be done? I mean, isn't it bad for?
That's what we're talking, that's exactly
You
what
are
we're talking.
talking for the whole library.
No, we're not talking about
Downstairs
the
in
library,
basement.
just the basement.
Yeah.
The only
basement.
issue-
That's what I meant, the whole basement.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that would help the whole library. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just
I
going
think
through a
so.
section, and that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, our
Okay.
concern is that we're putting books and other things down there.
Right.
When we know there is some degree of issue.
If that section, if that's done and the mold is removed, would the basement be usable for whether it be library or office,
No,
so it's not.
no,
useful.
the only way you could make that usable is if you had an elevator or a beefed up stairwell and two exits that are ADA compliant.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to go to the fire marshal and get him to change his ruling. Right now, his ruling is it can only be used for storage. And doing this would only make the storage a little better.
It just seems like such valuable space to speak. And it does have entrance from the back. Gee, you're sitting on top of all that in space. But
Yeah.
I don't know what all that would cost.
Right, and I mean, it's one of the things the committee that's looking at renovations is looking at doing, so. I'm
Now,
not gonna get ahead of them.
are you suggesting the whole of the media space be given up by the library?
I think so. I don't see a way that you could move that wall towards the door, and have enough space, for two offices in that location. I just don't see how it could be done. I mean, I could be convinced otherwise, but, somebody'd have to show me that how it could be done. And that would require us to put up another wall, so there's an additional cost. Right now, the only thing we have to do is take down a wall. That's the only thing we have to do.
Well, except the library would have to relocate the video and audio collection and,
that book sorting area,
and
but that could go right across the hall. Right across the.
But we don't have, the book nook would go out in the hallway because
Okay,
it needs to
That's
be
a
in the
good place.
public area.
Mhm.
And the sorting, I guess, would also have to be done in the hallway.
well, the office space you offered up, that little office space right there as you come in the door to the right. Rather than turning that into an office for somebody, that could be used for any of that
Right.
or all of that. And it's a better dual use area, multiple use area than the other is. Mixing the administrative offices with the books and all the other stuff doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yes, sir.
How much square footage are you looking at with these offices? Any idea?
9 by 24 plus 10 by 9.
So that's a couple hundred square feet plus, and what was the other one?
Yeah, 90 plus 9 times 24.
Right. This is the area right here. School, look at this area. This area is this area, house. Three offices and meeting rooms, well, we need to be one.
Which wall would have to come down?
There's a wall right here, it's not a cement wall or anything, it was.
Well,
It's like plywood wall.
I was trying to get an idea.
I guess I'm more concerned about the circulating items being in the hallway than the book nook items.
You have, what, 4 other rooms?
Well, the library is contained in those 2 rooms, that media space and the principal's office were taken out of the one classroom, which was the children's room, and then the media space with some of the children's circulating items in there also. To put that away from the circulation desk is not ideal. To have it in the hallway is not ideal.
Well, having all of these people up in this office together is not ideal either, and they have no other place to go. you still have 4 more rooms. I'm confident that you'd be able to figure out a way to do it.
Well, you suggested making a list and not allowing patrons.
Well, you could do a book.
browse.
You could do a book that would have the covers in the front of it. They could browse through what they wanted. And then you can get the ones that they want. I mean, that's one option. Other options are to find a place to set them up where they can look at them.
Well, the only space I really see is the hallway at this point. To be close to the circulation desk, because that's the library and the building.
Well, that's your option. You can do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I was just gonna say, I just saw this on Saturday when you guys were there, and I gotta tell you, I was totally impressed. I thought it was so creative to come up with, really, that's probably the most uninvasive place in that whole, now that it has been utilized the way it is. I forgot when I was in there working that was a makeshift wall there. And I just think that was very thoughtful and creative, to pick that space to do it. It's still not huge, but it's definitely doable, and, I think it's 100% great. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's the best of all the options.
It's really the best.
Yeah.
Without being at all, intrusive on anything there. There's plenty of space, like you said, might take a little rearranging. But I think, Penny's very creative. She can definitely find, spots for those things that are there, so.
I do have another concern for the state fire marshal's office, and that's about losing the second egress in the children's room. That I hope will be addressed.
Could our fire chief speak to whether we need to have 2 egresses in one room? I mean, do all of the classrooms have 2 ways to get out?
No,
No.
And the other rooms that you got up there do not have two accesses.
No,
Exits.
but on the floor plan, it is designated that the children's room is where it is and does have the 2 egresses.
Well, the door wouldn't be blocked off.
We're still gonna be there.
But would it go, but you're saying that would go into your office, so that would
But if
be
it was
kept
an
locked.
emergency, they would be able to use it, which is why you were looking for a second.
Is it gonna be locked?
Yes. Yes, but if there's a fire and I'm in the building, I'm gonna unlock the doors and get out.
But, and if you're not in the building,
You should have a key to that system.
That used to be an elementary school and they did not have 2 doors into every room.
That's the only room that does have 2 doors, so that.
And that was because
no,
the
well,
principal was in there.
also has.
Oh, the library
And
does.
the community room has
Yeah.
maker space and the Lions room do not.
Right, and those were classrooms with 1 door.
But this is, we have to get a occupancy permit for change of use.
No, we
No,
don't. It's not a change of use. I told you that,
No.
Penny.
We did to go in as a library.
Because it went from a school to a municipal building. That was the change of use.
Yes,
So it's the same use.
and the layout that John Hanson and I worked on to be presented,
Is not even close to what you have.
it is very close.
Well, I beg to differ, but that was a going in and we can make modifications to it. We're not impacting anything that would upstairs unless we start moving significant things like electrical and plumbing and that kind of thing. We're not affecting anything that the fire marshal is gonna have an issue with.
And the other issue I have is the facilities committee be in on this, because there are architectural plans going into fundraising that say that these are going, the Lulu lit to be able to renovate.
And when they're ready to put that in, then they're gonna have to find somewhere else to go, just like everybody else in that building. That's 3 to 5 years at best.
Or more.
Or
Yeah.
more.
Well, that's negotiable.
Yes, ma'am.
Saturday when, Terry and Beverly, and someone else was in there talking, the last thing I heard was that they were gonna take space in the maker room. And that's what I heard on Saturday, so.
I don't know where that came from.
Now, that was,
You are lying, I did not say that on
That-
Saturday, I specifically said.
that was an option that was offered. It was never something that was seriously
I'm trying
considered.
to get it straight, sorry about that.
Yeah.
But the
That-
police don't.
That was a space that was offered as an alternative.
Okay.
But when we did the walkthrough, that space as an alternative was taken away from us.
I wasn't aware.
No,
Yeah, you told us we couldn't use it.
You offered us a half wall,
Yeah.
2 windows worth of a
Oh.
half wall,
well, this is.
which cannot be an option.
Without, that was an option that I suggested to prevent going to an architect and getting a new floor layout for the occupancy permit.
We don't need that. If
I-
we do the plan that we have, we don't need to
Right.
do any of that. And we would have had to construct another wall, put in another door. If we did all the way to the ceiling, it would have been a lot more expensive to do that. And then when we went in on Saturday, your offer was a half wall.
Well, I was
With
trying
locked
to offer
cabinets.
options that wouldn't, I am also a taxpayer and I'm concerned about the cost of this relocation.
It's not gonna cost that much. We're taking down a wall,
Period.
period.
How would a half wall secure?
Yeah, a half wall is not an option.
Locks can be put on file cabinets and things can be locked.
A half wall is not an option. It's just
It
not.
takes an L shape and a lock with a lock on, I know, because I've had it done. But what I was asking is that room, the maker's room, not the bitch and stitch room, but anyway, stitch and bitch. But anyway, it's the maker room and that's only used certain times of the year, of the day, and Terry is only gonna be there, or anyone else is only gonna be there at certain times of the day. If that were partitioned off, then there would be no conflicts.
The amount of space they would need out of that room would make the rest of the room not very usable for what it's currently being used for. Cause we would need probably, was it 3 windows, Terry, to be able to do everything?
Yes,
Yeah.
And would 3 windows be more acceptable than moving the book up?
no,
It would still cost a lot more money for us to do that.
You're gonna move all those bookcases and everything.
That's not gonna
else.
cost any money to move the bookcases into the hall. I'll go do it myself. I can do it.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just confused. I'm not trying to sound stupid or either way, but I'm like, you have an office here, right? I don't understand.
It has,
Never-
It has the use of the back room over there.
You know, and
When this portion was built, that had to be, that transitioned to an office space. And right now, there are literally 4 separate offices
Right,
working out of that one little room,
huh?
and they've outgrown it. And each one of those individuals have sensitive or private conversations that have to be
Sure.
carried on.
Sure.
And there's no way of doing that there.
Yeah,
And some of it is with employees. And so
Yeah.
it's no longer a usable space for what we.
I understand. I was confused by the whole the fire station thing. What had that to do with that?
Because the fire station used to have an upstairs
Uh-huh.
that the fire station used. They don't have that anymore. So they lost space.
Where did you go?
We were told we couldn't keep it. I don't know. I wasn't here at the time.
Okay.
So we lost
it was
space.
against code.
Yeah, apparently it was against some
Okay.
code. Although it had been there for years and years and years and years. So the fire department lost space in that. So as a result, and the other thing that has put a pressure on it is that we now have 2 ambulance people 24/7 here. So we always have 2 people in this building. And that has created a stress on our space. So staying in this building was not an option. We were gonna have to go somewhere else.
Are you still planning on that? I mean, Is that?
What?
That's what that's what we're talking about right now, is taking, not
Just-
everything being moved,
just-
just
Just
that
the three,
office.
just the
But you're
three.
not thinking of something
CEO.
bigger, better, everybody in one spot,
No,
which makes sense.
you know,
which
50
is-
years from now, maybe, but no, no.
At 50 years, a lot of money.
Right, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
You said there were 4 people in that one room?
Yes.
In the back room. They spend all their time that they're here.
No, they don't, there's frequently that they're all 4 here, but a lot of times, 1 or 2 of them are there. But all of their stuff is there. All of their maps and their files and their working computers and all of the things that they need to operate are all there all the time.
And when they need to have conversations with citizens over different things, or David needs to have conversations with employees, they need it to be quiet and they need it to be confidential, and they can't do it in that room with all of them there at the same
Without
time,
disrupting.
and not having a separate room to go to.
Is this room available?
No.
No,
Why?
look back there. What
See
is
what's
that
right
back there?
behind you?
So that's a kitchen that serves the 24/7 2 employees that we've got here all the time. Plus, this room is used all the time for all kinds of things. So, yeah, this building is not an option, this one. John, did you have something? You're muted.
You're muted. Did you
Okay,
move?
thank you. Yes, I mean, these are 4 essential, basic operations for the town of South Thomaston. We're talking about the fire department, the ambulance department, the assessor, and code enforcement, all in one room. It's really not tenable for them to work together. By moving it, we're actually helping both the ambulance and the fire department. We're helping the assessor and the code enforcement officers to do their jobs. They definitely need a meeting room on top of it. This is almost a zero cost change. And the Guilford Butler building is a town asset. It's a community center. And John Spear in particular charged the Library Facilities Committee with planning for future use connected to the building. What we can do right now at zero cost is reallocate that 6,000 square feet that's on the first floor of Guilford Butler and allocate 300 square feet of that, 5% of the area, to 4 essential, that will solve a problem for 4, the actual heart of the business of the town of South Thomaston. They deserve the accommodation.
And just to be clear, it's 3, it's the CEO, the LPI, and the assessor's agent. The fire chief would stay here.
Yeah, the
As
fire
well as
chief
everything.
and the ambulance, but so the
Right.
solution provides better space for fire, ambulance, the LPI, the assessor, and the code enforcement officer. It's a magnificent, low-cost South Thomaston solution.
Thank you, I agree.
So what stays here?
Everything except those 3.
Well, what are the other things? People in the office, big office.
Ambulance and fire.
Oh, yeah. But
Ambulance.
I mean, the rest of the town office.
That's it.
Everything else stays here.
Who will be in that office now, where there's now 4 people?
The
Fire
the
chief.
fire chief.
But, and I think,
He's here a lot.
and Terry, you're gonna use that office when you're here as the treasurer, or are you gonna relocate?
No, I will work the desk in the morning when Bill's there in the afternoon, but David will have that office along with his ambulance deputy. So they will both have space and files and all the stuff. Right now, Ryan uses David's desk. They kind of shuffle along and someone leaves and comes back when they both are here. So ambulance and fire both will use that office.
That sounds.
What happened to the chief's room off the bay, the bay of the, the apparatus bay? Because there used to be a fire chief room there.
Right,
What happened to that?
that's a bunk room for our 24/7 ambulance folks.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I have two questions. One, going back to housing videos and audio things. Would there be like an oversized tall bureau put in the hallway with under lock and key? And then you were talking about, Susie, you should put it right.
So, yeah,
You were talking about having a book that would list all of what's those items are and what number, so the person can choose, go to the librarian or the person manning the desk, say, I would like less and such, and then they could use a key to get that in and out of it. I don't think that would be unworkable, but I don't know how much it would crowd the hallway. It seems like it's a pretty wide hallway. And then my second question is, and it's just curiosity because I really don't understand a lot of architectural workings, but when the renovations committee is putting together and we finally have monies to begin this process, are you intending on keeping those offices there, or are you looking that we could find a way to make even a more proper space for you? I don't know. I was just asking.
Yeah, and I think that's all, we've already asked the committee to include that in their redesign.
Okay,
Because we have anticipated this for quite a while.
okay,
We originally had kind of hoped of putting the whole town office there and then making this just the fire department. But we took that off the table pretty quick.
right.
But we did say we'll need a couple of spaces in there for the overflow from here. But yes, I think there are probably 20 ways to skin the cat on where stuff goes from where it is right now.
Thank you. Makes sense.
I don't believe, John Spear came in and said, town office as a whole someday, maybe in a separate edition, but he was not in favor of sharing the Guilford Butler school part. I don't recall ever being tasked with having to accommodate some of the office there. That is not anything I remember.
Can you direct your comments to the
I
chair,
am
please?
so sorry.
At the present moment, I don't believe there is any accommodation in the current plan that we have to accommodate any town offices. We have discussed putting a separate addition on for the town.
Right,
But not within the current planning.
right, the addition. In the addition portion.
Well, in any of it, there's been no talk of town offices in what we're trying to do.
And I think that was fixed at one point. And of course, you know that we're in the process of being introduced to the new architect team because of postponement of meetings. Our next meeting is the 11th of November, going to be held here. It's my understanding that we're going to be introduced to the new architect and the plans, and perhaps there's discussion that will be brought up at that point. Is Kevin aware of this question? I don't know. Kevin Bunker?
I don't know the answer to
Okay,
that.
so if you don't mind, I'm gonna let, just dialogue with him and then get back and forth so that I'm clear too, because I don't know.
It has not been discussed in our meetings of.
Okay. John, did you have something else?
Yes, I'd like to say that actually, even at Penny's encouragement, the meeting room that the Library Facilities Committee normally operates in had been planned very specifically as an accommodation to town needs. It's clear that the uses that are being impacted at the town offices are essential town services, and we need to think as broadly as possible about how to use town assets effectively. And to think that we cannot figure out how to use 300 square feet of a 6,000 square foot floor for essential town services does not make sense to me. It was discussed, it was actually brought up by Penny Alley that that room facing the road on the south end would be dedicated to the town offices. Penny, is that correct?
Which room are you referring to?
The one that the facilities committee normally meets in.
In the very beginning, before there was talk of an addition and before the facilities committee, it existed. And, with the use of the lower level as well as the top level, I thought all of town offices could have been accommodated within the makerspace and the learning center.
That's not my recollection, but there was discussion about how to meet town needs that included Guilford Butler.
Yeah, and if it's not currently on their agenda or their discussion items, then we just need to make sure it is. Thank you, John. Yes, ma'am.
Beverly. So, but it seems like we're spiraling a little bit here. The question isn't really if you're going to move this office down to the Guilford Butler, it's what space are you taking, right?
Correct.
And I mean, you could probably choose out of a few spaces, and you chose really the most, like I pointed out, in my opinion, kind of the best case scenario, so seems like a lot of discussion on.
Yeah, you've probably heard me say this before.
Beat the horse.
Yeah,
Beat the horse.
that's right. First rule of the cavalry. If the horse is dead, dismount. So I would entertain a motion to authorize the CEO to begin the process of making a relocation.
So move.
Second. Any further discussion?
Does that include having the fire marshal approve the plan before?
No, I am gonna approach the fire marshal and make sure he knows what we're doing. But I don't see it as a stumbling block for doing anything except for changing the sprinklers downstairs.
So we
See,
need to find that out.
Right. Yes.
The comment is, are we doing this piecemeal? I mean, where we're looking to make room here for this and, I mean, the select board, they don't have any space in the town office, am I correct?
Correct.
So how does that work? And then I know there was a discussion, at the last town meeting or maybe the meeting before about a town manager. How does that work? Where are we gonna do all this? It just seems.
The
like
town voted down town manager.
Oh, I know,
That's off the
I know,
table.
but, it just seems like I don't know. We're doing it piecemeal instead of looking and trying to figure it out, the big picture, so to speak. But
I can tell you the big picture, that we're gonna have to replace this building. We're gonna have to replace the fire department. But it's not gonna happen on my watch. It's not gonna happen on your watch. It's downstream. And we've got alligators and fires that we're putting out. So worrying about what they're gonna do in the next generation is not high on my agenda.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes, sir.
I have one question regarding deferred maintenance on the Guilford Butler Center. If we're going to
for those who look at the ceiling tiles. I've been down there a couple of times to do some, moving some furniture, move some bookcases. And there is some pipes that drip. So there is a smell, there is a pipe in the back, the storage is dripping to the floor. Can that be addressed at the same time when you do the rest of the work? Because I believe you also have to do electrical work in that footnote to get electricity in there.
I don't know, it's got electrical in there. We may have to rearrange lights, but right now it's, there's an electrical outlet in that area, so. Right now, we don't have to do any of that.
But could we also maybe address, if we have a mold smell down there, something's limping, that's contributing to the smell as much as the ceiling tiles.
Right. Yeah, I think that's something, I think it's further on our agenda. Our library community center advisory committee can tackle that in the very near future, I hope.
Thank you.
Yep. Last chance.
I just want to clarify, so, the assessor's agent is in the office once a month for the day.
That's the requirement, but he's here more often than that. And when he is, he's gotta be meeting with people and plus all of his paperwork and his maps and his.
I believe that he's set up at home to access.
He can do
Some
do
of it.
online stuff,
Some of it.
but he's obligated to be here once a month.
And then, the CEO hours,
CEO's hours.
I'm working with the town office, and I'm also the tax collector and treasurer. Trying to work out the best for everybody. Right now, I'm scheduled 20 hours for code enforcement. And 10 for tax collector and treasurer. But as we know, that's kind of a placeholder more or less, and sometimes I may do more tax collector and treasurer, and sometimes I may do more code enforcement. We are still in the midst of trying to work out the best schedule for the town office and code enforcement.
Okay, any further discussion? Yes, ma'am.
John.
John, did you have a last item? No? Okay.
No, I'm pretty weak and I'm just want to observe a little bit.
That's John.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry,
John.
sorry.
Oh, John Spear is on. John Spear is
But
in the house.
I'm gonna try to keep my mouth shut.
Well, that's all right. Well, welcome.
Sorry,
Welcome
sorry.
home.
Welcome back.
Yeah, actually, I'm still in Massachusetts, but the plan is to
Oh.
come home Thursday, so,
Oh, good.
Good.
yeah,
Looking forward to it.
yeah.
I asked somebody if they wanted to take your job as the road commissioner and he did not want to do it, so. So you're still stuck. Okay, all those in favor? Passes. Okay, discuss and consider approval of new hires. Chief, these are to the fire department, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
All set?
yep, go ahead, you got it. Your time.
All the trip, which is here tonight, he put in to join the fire service. He's 16 years old, so he's a junior firefighter. This is actually one of the first ones that has come from the micro school technology program that they have there, so he's enrolled in, he's taking the EMT course right now through the school, and his plan is to take fire 1 and 2 next year, firefighting class there. So I'll let you just give a little bit of background.
Yeah, I've lived here. I used to live here from when I was born up until I was around 5 or 7, and then I moved back here in 8th grade. So I've lived in the Mid-Coast area for my whole life. Yeah, my dad's a lobsterman. And I go to Oceanside. I run track there. Yeah, I just I don't know what else to say.
Are you a junior? You're a junior there? And you're at the Midcoast School of Technology, planning to do it for both years?
Yes, sir.
Good. And you're doing EMT this year and next year fire 1 and 2? And where do you physically live?
I live on Waterman's Beach Road.
Okay. Good. And they've already shown you around and you know, okay. And they don't do any hazing here. So I see. Well, welcome.
Yes, welcome, Oliver.
I'd entertain a motion to,
I make a motion that we hire Oliver Tripp as a junior firefighter.
I second that. Further discussion? All those in favor? Welcome. Have we had junior firefighters lately? Is this,
It's been a little while.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was thinking we hadn't had one. Quite a
no.
while. Good. Thank you.
Can't get your brother to join you?
There you go. You can say. I have, 3 more, the other 3 are members that you guys have already met at a selectmen's meeting. They're part of the ambulance that are coming across to the fireside. Jill Neagle and Rebecca Doyle. Those 2 are signed up for the Fire 1 and 2 Knox County Fire Academy. Fire 1 and 2 class that's starting in January, so, they're coming on board to pretty much go right through to interior people, members. And then Trinity Dearborn, the 3rd one, is already Fire 1 and 2. She has a Class A truck license, so she has EVOC, so she's like 100%.
Ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go, so she's coming over, on the fire side also, so getting a lot more joint trained people for the fire and EMS.
Yeah. Heading towards a single outfit, right? Pretty close to that already.
Yeah.
And all 3 of them live in town? You know?
No,
No, okay. Close, right?
yes, both, yes.
I don't think we need to formally approve them, but I will make a motion to authorize you to use them in both capacities.
Watching overtime,
Yes, yeah. With the proviso that you watch over.
yes,
You second that, well, go ahead.
I'll second that.
All those in
With
favor? Okay, did you catch that?
I did.
Okay. Why am I amazed? Okay, the next item, discuss and consider appointment of applicants for Library and Community Center Advisory Group. And did we have 6 or 7?
7,
7, I only saw. No, it's,
I thought I saw 7.
well, no, I got 7. For all of you that put in applications, thank you. That was a quick turnaround. Especially since we're still hashing out the actual verbiage of the guidance that we're gonna provide. We do have a new draft that's floating around, but it's probably not ready for prime time because we haven't really discussed it.
I just got to look at it this afternoon.
So, are you ready to fill in the names to the 5 positions?
I am not comfortable with that. I had spoken to you Saturday about volunteers for the library being appointed by the select board,
We're appointing them to the advisory committee.
but you are giving them tasks that,
We're giving them seats. Those seats are primarily responsible for a particular portion of the management of the library.
I guess at this point, I would ask for a workshop with the select board to go through this item by item and up to you, I have volunteers at this point that are fulfilling some of these roles? Do they have to be on the advisory committee to continue that?
No, these are the belly buttons for it.
Well,
This is for who you are gonna turn to and say, make sure this is covered. This is a group of folks that will be your belly button to relieve you of some of the burden that you expressed to us that you had.
but the burden I have is mostly custodial.
That's one of the items on there.
Well, it talks about maintenance, but it doesn't really talk about the custodial
So
part.
we can add that to it.
Well, then I don't think really it's time to appoint anybody until.
I
This
wanna,
is
I
a
wanna
final
appoint them,
document.
form the committee so that they can write their bylaws and work with you on finalizing it.
I am not comfortable.
I would be willing to do a workshop
Okay.
to go through these and
Okay.
with a group.
Yep.
And make the selection. for
I'm
those
asking
positions.
for the select board and the director to workshop this before appointing members
We're willing to do it for the applications, to workshop and go through the applications and make recommendations and decide who to appoint.
I don't know, question. I see this form and I just wondering about most volunteer work. This one sounds terribly dangerous. And at the bottom, is this the correct form, the town of South Thomas, the one that I'm looking at? For
I don't know, I can't
volunteers?
see it.
I don't know
I'm
what.
sorry. No, it's a volunteer thing for like scheduling volunteers and scheduling events.
Mhm.
That's the one, and then on the bottom, it says the acknowledgement that if you are willing to do this and you approach yourself on the job, basically. You,
I don't know what you're reading.
I don't either.
I'm sorry, I thought this came on.
It's the liability waiver, that's not the bottom.
That's
That's a standard,
that's a standard.
Is that standard?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you're looking at the application.
yeah, this, it just sounds like, you know, oh God, 10,000 books on my head and don't do that. You don't care. That's sad.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to release the names of the people, the applicants to this advisory?
You wanna do that now or after?
What, who's applied?
Who has applied? Yeah, I think it's public knowledge. We can tell you who's applying.
I'm not gonna tell you the individual thing that they apply for, because that's still in the works. Marcia Turner, Nancy Goslin, Denise Resniewicz,
Not bad.
Lenny Tootle, Beverly St. Clair, Sharon Setz, and Rachel Snow.
And the advisory committee is 5 people strong. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if this is what you're saying, Jeff, but I was gonna recommend that you appoint tonight and then whoever you appoint has the workshop with the select board and come together with, get the time and details worked out.
That's what I was hoping to do, but I think Sue would rather have a workshop with the library director. And then at the next meeting, we can do the appointments.
Yeah, you're talking 5 members and there's apparently 7 applicants,
Right.
so it doesn't seem 2 more is an overburden for a workshop.
Now, this is a workshop to select the 5.
And maybe can we also do some work on what they're supposed to be doing? This is not,
Once we select them,
yeah,
They will do that.
then they will do that.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm confused because I'm thinking this, like board's up here, the director of the library community center is here. The advisory committee is here.
Correct.
You guys can appoint us, there's a dotted line to you, but a direct line to Penny, is that?
Yes, that is correct.
And then underneath all that will be the responsibilities of those people. But as an advisory group, I'm not so sure that any one person can do any one of these things. And some of them I feel are the responsibility, and I think the responsibilities that are here and others should be discussed before. And you can appoint the advisory committee, that's fine, but they shouldn't be siloed into those categories at that point until they've made more decisions about what kinds of things need to be attended to.
Which is why the first task for them is to write their bylaws. This is, what we're gonna give them is guidance. This is what we want this advisory committee to do. These are the functions we want them to concentrate on
Okay.
and be capable, be the belly button, so that she doesn't have to go to the whole committee that meets once a month and say, I want this taken care of. She knows who that person is. But now, how you guys flesh that out, if you want one of them to be responsible for two of them, that's fine. But the bylaws will be written by the advisory group and approved by the select board.
The bylaws of the library and
Not
also
of the library.
Okay, so do we have those? That's first, me, is the bylaws of the library, because otherwise that's the overreaching document. And then the bylaws of each of those areas could be done. But until you know what the bylaws of the library are, how can you really assess and really go into detail? These don't go into
They're
the
gonna hear you.
details that people have. Hi, John.
Yeah, we're not looking to go into detail. And we are trying to get 5 people to agree to meet monthly with the library director to help relieve her of some of the burden of managing that building. That's it. Pure and simple. Okay, we don't need to create all the rest of this. I want them to create the bylaws for the advisory committee.
And the activities of the library community center.
No, you can do that in the future, but that is not what we're tasking them with doing. We're tasking them with being an advisory committee to advise the library director to help her orchestrate and wrangle the cats.
This is library community center, not just.
That is correct. Correct.
That is library community center, right?
Yes, it is library community center. Okay, so Sue is gonna get together with Penny, and the other folks that you wanna use the same group.
Yeah.
And at our next meeting, we'll plan to appoint.
I would like to have a workshop with the select board about this advisory committee and what is in it. I would even ask that we wait until John could participate. I think it's gone from advisory committee into something completely different that I would be interested in his input also.
Very wise.
I don't want to delay this for that. And did you see the recommended changes that I made?
Yes, but it still is assigning tasks to.
It's not assigning tasks,
It
it's
is.
assigning belly buttons. And it's different.
Well,
These are the captains who will be in charge of the workers.
but I disagree, and.
It gives you a chain of command. That's what it gives.
But it doesn't, it changes the contact for certain things, from the director.
That's what we've got laid out right now. When they write the bylaws, they can put it however you and them want it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll always call you.
I've never seen so much opposition from people who want to help. They want to volunteer their time. They don't want any compensation. they want to help, and it's just opposition after opposition. These people, it's the helping, it's a very, to me, it's a creative, and maybe unique idea to have a working advisory. I don't see, everyone's complaining, no one wants to volunteer, no one ever steps up, and you got 7 people who applied for this. I think that's wonderful. Why is it a problem? Why is it
I
an
don't-
issue? It's not an issue, it's just a control thing, more control.
And it's not all that novel. At the airport, as the airport manager, I had an advisory committee. It started out as 9 people, turned into 10 with certain seats. That doesn't mean they don't all talk about all of it and can help each other do other things.
And this could go to 7 seats. And we just have to have a couple more, duties on it.
Or divide up what's there into more. I mean, and the applications, I mean, they come from varied backgrounds, they have varied things that they like to do. Some of them are different groups of people that could bring in more volunteers. One of them is very interested in doing a lot of fundraising, and I know that they've done a lot of fundraising for the library, not for the reconstruction, just for the library itself.
It's a.
And I think it's a good thing, and you're gonna find that different people bring in different groups of people that can come and offer new ideas and just more creative, not that the stuff there isn't good or creative, but expand ideas and, yeah.
I was just wondering, are you going, or I suppose it's up to the committee, but a lot of the people that go, love that place, go on a regular basis and have different kinds of things going on right now that Penny has set up over the years. I'm assuming I've been here forever. But are those things probably still going to continue? I mean, there's a
Absolutely.
music.
I don't see
there's
why
the
not.
Maker Center. There's,
None of
you
that
know.
changes.
well, sometimes things do change when you get different opinions, and I just wondered, it would kind of be.
But they're still all filtered through the library
Right.
community center director.
Okay,
Okay, all this is a helping hand for
That's great.
like,
no, I'm
who
happy.
came to us and said, I need help.
I'm
So we're
I'm
providing
happy
her
to hear that, many programs have been great. I've enjoyed them. I've been to many libraries in many states, and I finally found a library that I like going to without all of the big, heavy, political stuff that you find in big city libraries. And this one's nice, so I think that's good. It's still a community. So, that's fine.
Yes,
Just a
ma'am.
suggestion, of all those 7 names, I think they all should be included in any workshops or anything like that to begin with. And if somebody drops out, then that'll be one less.
Oh, if we're gonna do that, then we'd have 7.
Yeah, and this is the workshop that she's doing right now is to pick who's gonna be on the committee. Okay? That's all this next workshop is.
But I think those are good names to pick of the 7. I think it should be 7. Just saying that.
I'm not averse to having 7 on it. It's just that Sue's been working with this for a couple months now and came up with 5. I have no problem with 7. I think 9 is too much. I think 3 is too little. But 5 or 7 is perfectly adequate. And if that's what you wanna do when you get your working group together, that's fine, but
Okay.
Okay. Moving on. Yes, ma'am.
I just have one comment about this, because I am on the facilities committee, and we're looking to start grant seeking in a big way, as we all know. I think this is in preparation for when we do get the bodies and reconstruction and renovation, and not reconstruction, but renovation to occur, whatnot. We're gonna be a lot bigger and we're gonna be a lot busier. And I think this is a great way to start it. It's all with people who give a big damn. So I think it's a good way.
I also think if you have this in place, when you start doing that, that it's gonna make it look better. That it's not one person, it's a group of people, and there's a structure to it.
Advisory committees also provide a direct link to the community. It's easy for organizations to become insular and so when you have an advisory committee with people that turn over, I do not envision the advisory committee being the same people for more than 9 years. I think they should time out at 9 years because we want other people coming in and we want them to be the link to the community to provide that link.
I think the other thing we have to keep in mind is we have a director now and some of it is focused on the current director. But if we can get the committee advisory going, could very well be a different person as director. So we want to be careful of not getting personalities involved here.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't envision us having a new director at any time in the near future.
At
Yeah.
that point, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta build it for the position, not for the face.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
moving.
would like to send this application to our current volunteers.
It's
went
already
out
been
to
given to
everybody.
everybody. It's been out.
It only went out to listserv, and listserv doesn't include everybody.
It was posted at the library, it was posted at the post office.
It's posted the same place. Everything else in the town is posted.
It was at the
It
library.
was at the library
bulletin
on the
board.
bulletin board. It got moved, but it was there.
Well, frankly, I didn't think that we would be at a point where you would close applicants.
Well, you have to do it at some point.
Well,
It's been out
nothing,
how many
the
weeks?
committee hasn't even been formed yet.
It will, that's right, because we
Because
can't, we
we
need
can't
the
do it without
applicants.
this.
And all we can do is try to put the information out there. We have only a limited ways of doing that. And some people choose either not to hear it or to wait till it's too late to hear it. That has always been, in this town especially.
I would ask
The
for
issue-
one more week then.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
You could have put it on the bottom of the tax bill.
Yeah.
Everybody is-
We didn't have it at that
didn't have it, yeah.
time.
But it was discussed ad nauseum at our last select board meeting, and it's
The last
put
couple of
out.
select board
I
meetings.
apologize for saying anything because I have not been to any select board meetings. And I've lived here 5 years. I've been sick part of that time. And I would have loved to have put in an application, but hey, that's okay. It's nice to be able
You
to
can
hear.
still
that you're
volunteer
all
all
doing
you
it.
want.
Oh,
I did talk to some people though that this was still a draft document, that it hadn't been.
And I was clear about that at the last meeting, that we're still gonna ask for the volunteers to fill the committees, even though we haven't completed the guidance, the initial guidance.
I had just assumed that it would be voted on as a board, that this is your working document before applications were to cease.
Now, when we decide who they are, by then we should also be able to give their initial guidance, which would be some version of that
Okay.
document that we've been batting around. But the beginning of it would be them writing their own bylaws.
I still would ask for one more week. This before our current volunteers.
You don't think it's necessary?
When's our next meeting? We don't meet till the 17th. I don't have a problem. I don't, you know.
I didn't. That's the word, stalemate.
Yeah. And from the very beginning, this is not been my,
I know,
not my circus.
I know.
So you got it.
It's mine.
Okay.
So I think we have 7 applications and they've had an opportunity to do it. What is your goal to do? And
I would like
we
to
have
some
7
current
applications.
volunteers in these positions if they would consider?
They had the opportunity to do that, and I know there was plenty of discussion rolling around that building in the past few weeks, as well as application there. And as well as being posted the same place that everything else is in the town. And I think that's sufficient.
But this wasn't, not this,
The application was.
yeah, well, I felt it was a little misleading and I did ask for that to be separated from this, but it hasn't been. I'm asking for one more week of applications to come in.
I think they've had plenty of time, Penny.
Well, I'm just, this
Okay,
document.
we're moving
hasn't
up,
even
Penny,
been
we're moving
seen.
on, we're moving on.
We're getting off the
That-
dead
It
horse.
has not been
Yeah.
seen by the applicants.
Yes, ma'am.
There was no deadline expressed for turning those in, so I do think 1 week, and this is something.
They've
I
had
think is
plenty of time.
When did they come out?
I
This is
saw
something
this,
I feel
this
like we
version
did
last
this
night, or it came last
That
night.
version is not out to everybody. That version is
Right.
not part of the application.
Well,
Have you listened to anything that John said, that Jeff said tonight?
I would like to make a recommendation that we stop talking like people are liars or misunderstand. I'm very upset about this because I led with, I thought that's what I heard. And then I'm called out as a liar, and then this is calling, this is not the
Well,
right way to be
Okay,
handling.
okay,
Jeff had said all night that this group is going to work on that document, so it doesn't make sense to put that document out to everybody before we have this group.
I still think this is being pushed through faster than it needed to, because it all came up to last.
it's been coming up for 3 months, more than that, 4 months.
But 1 more week would not make that great a
We've
difference.
had plenty of time. We need to move on.
And I am moving on. And so next item, we'll do, donations. It looks like we've got 4 of them.
The donation,
Yeah,
I make a motion, we accept the donation of $1,000 from Rachel Snow for the Forest Preserve.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
I make a motion that we accept the $300 donation for the ambulance service from Matinicus Isle Plantation.
I'll second that.
Next one.
All those in favor?
And I make a motion, we accept a $100 donation for the fire department from Marsha Turner.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
And I make a motion, we accept the $80 donation to the library from Sue Plungeon.
I'll second that. All those in favor? And you'll send letters. And I'll make a motion that we approve the warrants that we're going to sign after this meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Correspondence. We got a nice letter from Machias Savings Bank saying that we had fulfilled our commitment on the loan that we made to replace the lights on the CMP's poles. So that loan has been paid back. And Municipal Revenue Service, we did receive their letter saying we're getting ready to tell you what we think your town is worth. And you have until the middle of November to challenge it. I didn't see any numbers with it. Did you? Did I give you any numbers yet? I didn't think so. So it's pretty hard to challenge something you don't have numbers for. Yeah. So we have till the 15th of November, so. Doesn't sound like we're gonna keep it. That finishes everything on the agenda except for possible executive session, so I entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we go into executive session. Here's the. Oh. pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056A.
I second that. All those in favor? I don't expect us to make any motions or continue after the executive session, so anybody who's online.
I'd like to
Don't have to worry
participate
about
in that if I could.
Oh,
I'd like
yeah,
to
sure,
participate in.
John.
John's the only one in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're the only one left, but we're not recording.
Not,
No,
we
no.
are, but not yet.